Success is a child of drudgery and perseverance. It cannot be coaxed or bribed. Pay the price and it's yours. Orison Swett Marden. My friends, 10 to 15 minutes a day, that's your drudgery. That's your perseverance. It's each and every day. If you will just stick with this, if you will do the practice trading, take the training videos that are in your show notes every day. If you're not a subscriber, go to chartingwealth.com, sign up for free. You'll get the free trainings on a daily basis. Today's is the magic of the weekly vertical crossover. Key to understand. That is what we talk about here constantly. Weekly vertical crossovers are our bread and butter. What are they? They are sea changes in the sentiment of the investors in the particular stock, ETF, index, commodity, whatever it might be. We see those things happen when fear, when the market's going down, or greed, when the market's going up, takes over with the majority of investors, and we see those movements in price. I'm going to bring something over to you guys on the screen you don't usually see. This is what I go through every day for you guys. The first five. It is the S&P 500, NASDAQ 100, 20-year bonds, gold, and Bitcoin. I want you to see, for those of you who are interested in cryptocurrencies, I got into this a while back because you guys kept bothering me about charting cryptos, because guess what? Nobody does that. So I started doing it for you, and you guys have seen how magical and unbelievable it has been and how accurate our charts are when it comes to cryptocurrency. So I hope you are learning and practice trading that. It is a booming area that, unless something goes haywire, I see it just continuing to move. Now, of course, my old-time favorite is gold, but when it comes to cryptocurrencies, of course, we follow the Bitcoin Crypto Index. That is the New York Stock Exchange Bitcoin Index. We also, for our Patreon members, I've started this Charting Crypto on Wednesdays for them. Had the inaugural broadcast this last Wednesday. You won't get this unless you are a Patreon supporter, but we go through GBTC, which is the Grayscale Bitcoin, Grayscale Ethereum, BITO and BTF. Those are brand new ETFs started back in October that are Bitcoin futures. We also go through, this is an interesting one. This is the top 10 crypto indexes. BITW, it has a little bit more time in grade. It's been around a little longer than these new futures markets that are developing in cryptocurrencies. And also we have a number of others that are in the crypto space. So if you're interested in cryptocurrencies, I really want to encourage you to become a Patreon member. We have a few slots left, and I'm telling you, this is an area where just for instance, if you look at what Ethereum has done over the course of just this last year, and if we go back, over the last year, look at where Ethereum was, $6.81. Actually, the low, $6.12. The high, $43. The high most recently, $47. So again, crazy. That's what, 8x? Again, where are you going to see those kinds of increases? And again, the beautiful thing about our chart, look at our chart. Could you track that? You darn sure could. Can you see it when it starts going down and then resets to move up again? Could you track that? You darn well could. Would you know when to get out and not write it down, even if you waited for the weekly to cross over for you? You darn sure could. Now, you don't have to wait that long. Why? Because we have 2-day crossovers that pull you out potentially earlier, or you can just ride up so many percentage and again, take it. So again, I want you to, now this is not about, we're not a stock calling service. We're sure not a crypto calling service. We're a charting education firm, and we want you to pay attention and learn. There's a lot of stuff to learn here, and there's a lot of potential here. And I don't know anybody else on the internet that is doing this. We are dedicated to doing it for you on a daily basis for free if you want to support us and, of course, cover some of these in-depth things. Now, you know, every day we cover Bitcoin for you, every single day. We've been talking about this latest rotation over and going down. Bitcoin down 1.36% for the day. Grayscale Bitcoin down 5%. Ethereum, which you can actually see on our charts and is chartable, we had a rotation over going down all the way back on the 3rd of December. And that was on the weekly. The 2-day crossed over way before that. So again, my friends, you don't have to sit around here blind. Now, it's going to take you putting in the effort and the time, but we're only asking from you 10 to 15 minutes, Dan. I've already been burning up a lot of that. Let's jump into these charts. I just want to encourage you. You can do this. There is a lot on the line. It is your future, particularly if the U.S. dollar starts to crash and this market starts to crash and you wonder as inflation pegs in and starts to kill you, how do you make it in this world? You gain knowledge. Knowledge is power. Now, we see the S&P 500 down 0.89%. Heikin Ashi candlestick is showing us the average pace is still trying to drive up, but of course, it is down. It is trying to grow a green candle for the week. And again, that is the Heikin Ashi candlesticks. Those of you who studied that, we've got a great training on it. Look it up. Heikin, H-E-I-K-E-N, Ashi, A-S-H-I, average pace. It's showing you that the average pace, as far as the candles go, is trying to move up. We look down here at the price percent oscillator, sliding sideways, maybe down a little bit. Derivative oscillator has finally gone negative. That's interesting. It's our leading indicator, triple smooth version of the relative strength index. That the relative strength index tends to show you overbought, oversold positions. So we do see down movement there. Now, of course, we had the weekly vertical crossover back on the 3rd of December. We weren't really excited about that because our derivative oscillator was still positive, but we ended the week with a green spinning top. We'll see how this week continues to move along, starting off down. Now we look at the 2-day. What do we see there? Also, not a crossover. Red open box candle, not reaching a higher high. And we'll continue to watch and see how this develops. Derivative oscillator continuing to lose downward momentum. It's still negative. Price percent oscillator maybe a little less than flat. Look at the half day. You can see where things peaked and then rolling over, slowing down in the morning, and then accelerating down in the afternoon. Price percent oscillator still positive, heading down. Derivative oscillator positive, losing upward momentum. Now let's move on to the NASDAQ 100, the biggest downer. It was down 1.44%. Actually more than the Bitcoin index for the New York Stock Exchange was down. Little green candle forming. Look at that price percent oscillator been laminated, pulling away slowly from the red signal line. Derivative oscillator went negative last week and gaining downward momentum. We look at the 2-day, we can see where it's hiking over, going down. Derivative oscillator maybe losing a little bit of downward momentum. What do we have forming there? We have a red spinning top, almost a doji. That is the first day of the latest 2-day candle. What do we see on the half day? Down in the morning, accelerating down in the afternoon, lower low. Big red down candle sitting right there on that weekly trend line. Hasn't crossed over, going down, getting close. Derivative oscillator barely positive. Okay, that's where we are on stocks, down. Currently, they're both in the negative territory due to the weekly vertical crossover going down and the 2-day crossovers heading down. So the pressure on the markets, on the S&P and the NASDAQ 100, down. Now we're going to go to 20-year bonds. 20-year bonds are still in a confirmed up move. Up for the day, 1.48%. We had sort of a wacky week last week. We saw the market moving up, but it was a red open box candle. That means a slowdown in the up movement. Price percent oscillator literally flattened, heading down a little bit. Now it's trying to move up a little bit. First day, have a red open box candle. Not super exciting, not even green yet, but it was a nice up day. But see, these are oscillators, and you have this oscillation that's continuing over from the prior price movement, both on the derivative oscillator and the price percent oscillator, which is a what? It is a percentage version of the MACD. We have our own settings on this. If you subscribe to TC2000, we have a $25 off coupon for you. If you look in the show notes, you'll see that. And when you do subscribe, what do we have for you? We have this layout of hours that you can immediately download and start using. So you don't have to go and reset all this stuff. We have one for you. And that is our own setting on the price percent oscillator. Why? Because we found out it works. Derivative oscillator set at 4, 14, 5, 3, and 9. Price percent oscillator at 10, 24. We don't hide this from you. But again, we've already got it all set up for you. You don't have to recreate it. If you're trying to get this kind of stuff on like Thinkorswim, a free platform for those who are members at TD Ameritrade, I don't think they have anything like this. I don't think they have the price percent oscillator. Best you can do is the MACD, which is not as good. Close, but no cigar. So that's where we are on the weekly. We go to the 2-day green spinning, green open box candle trying to form. Price percent oscillator heading up, derivative oscillator still losing downward momentum. Now, again, we are still positive on the 2-day. We're still positive on the weekly, and bonds are still moving up. What about the half day? Well, the half day sort of settled over the course of this last week and popped up on Monday. We'll see where that takes us. Hasn't crossed over yet. Derivative oscillator still negative, losing downward momentum. Price percent oscillator negative, heading up. Let's go to gold. Up for the day, 0.25%. Now, gold has been going down, going down, going down. It did not cross over going down this week. Looks like it's trying to right now. Even with a little bit of an up day, we have a green, solid green candle, a little bitty one. That means a slowdown in the down movement. We'll see as the week goes on if gold continues. If gold starts back to moving down, you may have a crossover going down. If it bounces off that red signal line, all the better. What will we be waiting for? A 2-day recross going up so we can jump in. So we'll wait and see if indeed that occurs. I don't even know what's happened to the derivative oscillator. It looks like it's just disappeared. Price percent oscillator trying to cross over. That's just 1 day of a 5-day candle. On the 2-day chart, we see the price percent oscillators flat, derivative oscillator negative, losing downward momentum, green open box candle. Maybe gold has bottomed out. Wouldn't that be beautiful? As the week goes along to see a potential 2-day recross, that means the 2-day, which is currently down, recrosses in the same direction as the weekly. That would give us a jumping in point. That'd be beautiful, wouldn't it? So we'll wait, watch, and see if anything like that even gets close to happening. Lastly, we've talked, wait a minute, I got to do for you the half day. What do we see on the half day? Again, we see this sideways slide where it was gaining momentum, dropped, and then over the last 2 days trying to move up. So we'll keep an eye on things, see where they go. Price percent oscillator gaining a little bit of momentum, derivative oscillator heading up. Okay, now let's go to Bitcoin, down 1.36%. We showed you that, of course, the Bitcoin grayscale was down, over 5%. But the New York Stock Exchange Bitcoin Index down, as we can see, nice big red down candle, price percent oscillator, derivative oscillator. Why are we excited about this? Because we're not in Bitcoin in a practice trade. Why? Because we pulled our trades. Now, that is very important for you to pay attention to. When would you pull your trade in something like this? Well, of course, at least at the time that the 2-day crossed over going down. You sure ought not to wait for the weekly to cross over. We had plenty of notice to pull over at least at that point. That would have gotten you out near the top. And then what do? You let it trundle down, you let it go down, you let it go down, you let it go down, and then when it rolls over, heading back up, that's when you buy, my friends. You don't catch a falling knife, and you don't try to grab onto something that's hammering down day after day. Look how easy these charts are to read for Bitcoin. If this were complicated stuff, it'd be a problem. But it's not a problem. It's quite easy for you to read. Does it mean you capture every single swing to the tippy top? No, you can't do that. Why? Because we're dealing with oscillators. These are changes in price movement. The moving average convergence divergence indicator measures just that, the moving average of the converging and diverging of price movement. And of course, we use a percentage version of it, which allows us to compare it across the line. The other thing that we use is the derivative oscillator, which is similar to relative strength index. It's a triple smooth version of that. It's a leading indicator. So we use both of these, and they help us see what's actually going on with investor sentiment. That's why we do it, because it's beautiful. And we've seen over and over again with Bitcoin that it works. Why is it working so well? Is it because most people don't know how to chart these things and they just can't? So the charters aren't really driving stuff? I don't know, my friends. I don't know. But I'm telling you, any fool can look at this and see, man, that works pretty well, doesn't it? Well, what should that tell you? Master this. We're not a stock calling service. We're not a Bitcoin or a cryptocurrency calling service, but we are folks that will teach you how to chart so you can practice trade again and again and again until you get this stuff down. And then and only then, when you have proved to yourself you know what you're doing, should you ever even consider using real money. And we will not advise you on that because we're not financial advisors. All disclaimers are in place and stated. Now, that is what we see going on the weekly, heading down strong. What do we see on the 2-day? Heading down strong. First day of this latest 2-day candle, lower low, moving right down that trend line. The derivative oscillator is about flat. Price percent oscillator just spiking down. And on the half day, again, we can see where things are continuing to move down. Is that downward movement slowing a little bit? Well, if we look at the price percent oscillator, it is flattening. The derivative oscillator is still gaining momentum. So we'll keep our eye on things. Of course, what we're mainly concerned with always is the 2-day and most of all the weekly. The half day gives us an idea as to intraday movements on stocks and ETFs that move or move throughout the day, as long as they just don't have flat settings that come in. That is where we are, folks. God bless you all. Appreciate you being with us. I know I've gone a little long today, but had a lot to share. And as you can tell, I was excited. Thank you for the new Patreon members. God bless, my friends. Keep the faith. Merry Christmas. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters. God bless.